Got this hell to pay, and the cross I bear weighs a ton. Well deserved, what can I say? I'm a son of a bitch for all the things I've done. But every time I try to make peace with my enemies, I lose my patience and I lose my mind. Whoever gets me is whoever is in front of me. But why'd it have to be her this time? Oh, no, I let my loved one go, and I can't stop, no, I can't do the pain. Oh, no, let my true colors show. Black and blue look good on you to say. Half for one heart and half for one soul. Don't make me whole.
The following program is rated MA-LSV. It contains strong language, sexual situations, and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences.
Finally, show with the balls to call it like it is. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Countdown to audio torture.
The Rated R Safety Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Let the eardrum pain begin.
Forget the corporate bullshit. This is the Rated R Safety Show with your host, Dr. It doesn't matter who the host is.
Well. Is that not the truth or what? It does not matter who the host is. Today's Tuesday, November the 2nd of 2021, day 306th of the year. And are you ready for this? The countdown to extinction continues. Only 59 days left to go before we get to the end of the show here. Before the end of, this thing that we're calling 2021, the year that promised so much more than what it was supposed to be. And, I don't know. I don't know what happened. Maybe we shouldn't start off that dark right away. Maybe we'll talk about stuff like that later on. Anyways, we are broadcasting live from the Safety FM studios in Orlando, Florida, and coming across the multiverse known as Safety FM, so don't worry about that. And we're also hanging out with our friends and colleagues at that other place that we tend to do stuff at.
Radio.
Yep, hanging out with our friends at RadioBig.com, so don't worry, we are hanging out over there doing the things that we do from time to time with those peeps, because that's important, so don't worry about that. So we are going to get grooving right away, start talking about what was trending in the overnight, because those things are always important, so let's go from there. Let's talk about the top 5 songs in iTunes and the top 5 songs in Spotify, so we'll get those moving and grooving right away. So at the number 5 spot, top songs on iTunes. At the number 5, Ray Parker Jr. with Ghostbusters. Go figure. Number 4, Loza Alexander with Let's Go Brandon. At number 3, Adele on Easy on Me. At number 2, Bobby Boris Pickett with Monster Mash. And then at the number 1 spot was Bryson Gray with Let's Go Brandon featuring Tyson James and Chandler Crump. So there you go. Taking it from the other side, going from Spotify, at number 5 was Ed Sheeran with Bad Habits. At number 4 was Ed Sheeran with Shivers. At number 3 was Lil Nas X with Industry Baby. At the number 2 spot was The Kid and Justin Bieber with Stay. And the number 1 spot, according to Spotify, was Easy on Me. And that one was performed by Adele. Definitely not performed by yours truly, because, it would not be a top seller whatsoever if that was the case. So don't worry about that. So a lot of stuff going on this morning as we are talking, moving and grooving. If you're interested in hitting us up on the chat boxes, you're more than welcome on doing that. The other side of the house, of course, will give you the availability of being able to come in and going into callinradio.com. That's callinradio.com, and that will get you into our Sistema that's right over here, and we'll get that moving and grooving and all that kind of fun stuff. Get you into the system. Even if you just leave a little message, we'll get that over at callinradio.com. We've tried to simplify that as much as possible, the easiest way to get into the mix, because that's what happens. Anyways, let's get us to our friends at Feature Story News, because they have some features, they have some stories, and they definitely have some news. So let's get that moving right now.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
From Feature Story News in London, I'm Ollie Barrett. More than 100 world leaders at COP26 in Glasgow are signing up to an agreement to halt and reverse deforestation by 2030. UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson says it'll support the goal of restricting global warming to 1.5 degrees Celsius because forests absorb carbon emissions. Environmentalists say previous pledges on deforestation have not been followed through. UK Environment Secretary George Eustice says this deal comes with important signatories and around $20 billion in funding.
It includes commitments from countries like Canada, but also Russia, and crucially as well Brazil, which obviously is responsible for the Amazon. And then underpinning that, we've done something that hasn't been done before, and that's we've mobilised pledges of finance from both governments, but also from the private sector to protect rainforest, to protect forest, and also to enhance and plant new forest as well.
India's pledged net zero carbon emissions by 2070. That date is 2 decades later than COP26 organisers have been calling for. Ishan Garg reports from New Delhi.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi set the long-term target of becoming carbon neutral by 2070, while also promising to cut emissions drastically in the next decade. But he's also emphasized on the need for climate financing options to help the transition. Mr. Modi says developed nations need to commit $1 trillion to help the developing countries. There isn't a plan, however, on how India could spend the money if the financing does come through. It's expected that the country's carbon emissions would peak by 2030. Officials say they're investing heavily in transition to alternative fuels and are hoping to cut vehicular pollution by incentivizing electric vehicles.
Hong Kong's tightening COVID-19 border rules in a bid to get approval from Beijing to restart quarantine-free travel with mainland China. Business groups say the restrictions damaged the city's status as a global finance hub. Richard Kimber reports from Hong Kong.
Hong Kong already has some of the strictest COVID-19 quarantine rules in the world. Travellers arriving into the city must spend up to 3 weeks in a designated hotel room before being allowed out into the community, even if they've been fully vaccinated. However, currently anyone whose business the government considers to be in the interest of Hong Kong's economic development can skip those rules. Recently that's included senior finance executives and celebrity actors. But from the end of next week, those exemptions will no longer apply. The government says that'll reassure Beijing that it's safe to resume quarantine-free travel between Hong Kong and the Chinese mainland, but international finance groups in Hong Kong say the strict rules are undermining the city's status as a global financial hub.
France has not gone ahead with retaliatory measures against the UK over a post-Brexit fishing row. President Emmanuel Macron says he wants talks on the issue to continue instead. From bureaus worldwide, this is FSN.
With FSN Spotlight, I'm Simon Marks, looking today at how the world should judge COP26, the climate summit which opened on Monday in Glasgow and continues to hear a host of worthy speeches from world leaders promising change. But will they deliver? And what are the mechanisms for this conference once the opening addresses are over and the leaders themselves have left Glasgow? Sarah Mukherjee is the CEO of the Institute of Environmental Management. It's a body for professionals studying sustainability.
I've been to quite a few of these events in various guises, and this first day is always the kind of set piece. So you've got, world leaders they know they have an incredibly high-profile audience in the room. Everybody sitting there as a world leader or a thought leader. But it's really at the end of this Leaders' Summit in the next couple of days where the real work is going to be done, where the international delegates will start doing the horse trading and start trying to really knit together a deal, which we all hope will show some real action. That's certainly what our members are telling us. They want to see something tangible come out of these talks.
The British government hosting the event wants a global commitment to ensure net zero carbon emissions by the year 2050. But as the Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi indicated in his speech on Monday, that may be a tough climb. India, he says, won't achieve that goal until 20 years later. I'm Simon Marks.
To recap the top stories, more than 100 world leaders at COP26 in Glasgow are signing an agreement to halt and reverse deforestation by 2030. India's pledged net zero carbon emissions, but not until 2070. Hong Kong's tightening COVID border rules to get approval from Beijing to restart quarantine-free travel with mainland China. And France has not gone ahead with retaliatory measures against the UK over a post-Brexit fishing row. That's the latest feature story news. Ollie Barrett reporting.
This show is almost as enjoyable as hearing the sound of the toilet flush. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
I spend a lot of time in the backyard, and I'm the center of attention at summer barbecues. In '96, I made some of the tastiest s'mores. And in '09, it was me, your backyard fire pit, that accidentally started a wildfire when a summer breeze carried one of my embers into some dry brush.
Spark a change, not a wildfire. Visit SmokeyBear.com. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Hope you enjoyed your meal. And I just want to say, he's lucky to have a brother like you.
Lucky? Caring for my brother is far from easy. But he's a part of me, like my arms and legs, so I'll be his. No time for tired. Nothing can disable this love. He needs me, but I'm the lucky one, even though I need help now and then.
If you're caring for a loved one, visit aarp.org/caregiving for care guides and community support for your strength. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
What if I told you that a tornado was going to happen tomorrow, right where you live? That it would touch down at exactly 3:17 p.m., and I told you the exact path it would take. You would, of course, prepare. You would talk with your loved ones, and you'd make a plan today. It's true, I can't tell you a tornado will strike tomorrow, but shouldn't you have a plan anyway? Go to ready.gov/communicate and make your emergency plan today. Don't wait, communicate. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
This is Mario Andretti. You know me as a race car driver, but I'm also a Meals on Wheels volunteer. I've raced against the sport's biggest personalities, but I've never met more vibrant, amazing people than the seniors served by Meals on Wheels. You can make a difference by dropping off a hot meal and saying a quick hello. So, America, let's do lunch. Volunteer your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org.
This message brought to you by Meals on Wheels America and the Ad Council.
It's always amazing to me on how technology changes, and so does the environment that we're in. And cyber criminals will do everything they can to take advantage of a system. If you don't own a home, you have nothing to fear about what I'm about to tell you. But if you own a home like me and you don't guard it with home title lock, you're inviting home title fraud. One of the fastest growing crimes. Cyber thieves around the world know our home values are sky high at the moment, and that makes us a target. The crime is scary simple. Let me explain it to you real quick. A cyber thief simply forges your name on a property sale form and refiles it. That's it. Now he or she is on the deed of your home and you have no idea that you're a victim. Then the person takes out a loan on your home and vanishes, leaving you to prove to the police that you didn't commit bank fraud. Home Title Locks puts a virtual barrier around your home title. The instant they detect any kind of tampering or anybody messing around, they help shut it down. Look, if you have equity in your home, you need to guard it the best way that you can. Some people might even go as far as guarding it with their life. Go to HometitleLock.com and register your address to see if you already are a victim. And enter the code RADIO. That's RADIO. That's the code RADIO for 30 days free of protection. That's code RADIO at HometitleLock.com.
Safety in a way never heard of before. The Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Oh, there you go. 15 minutes past the top of the hour as you and I are hanging out on this lovely, lovely, lovely Tuesday. So anything good, grand, or indifferent going on inside of your neck of the woods? That's always a good one, a good question to ask, because I never know where you stand unless you tell me. Hopefully on your feet. I mean, those would be the good players. Anyway, so let's get it rolling and what is going on inside according to the hit list, because that's some good stuff to always talk about and all that kind of fun stuff. So let's get that moving right away. The global death toll from COVID-19 topped 5 million yesterday. The U.S., the UE, Britain, Brazil account for nearly half of the total reported deaths. The U.S. alone has over 740,000 deaths, more than any other country. Think about that real quick. Think about the numbers as we're going through them and talking about them and all that stuff. 740,000 here at home alone. Just something to think about right away as we are speaking this morning about all this interesting stuff. So how does that make you feel when you start hearing 740,000? I mean, that is a large Pacifico number. There is no doubt about that. As we are talking this morning. A 19-year-old man has been arrested for fatally shooting one and injuring three others during a party at California Councilwoman Rebecca Armenender's home over the weekend. Benjamin David Calderon, who has been charged with homicide after firing a gun to multiple times during a fight at the party. The four victims are between the ages of 17 and 19. So there you go. Armendaris is cooperating with law enforcement for the investigation. I mean, I would hope so. They were at your house. I would hope that you are giving some collaboration action on what is going on for sure. I mean, why wouldn't you do that? Just something to think about as we are talking this morning. So just some Iggy's there. I mean, that's kind of a weird one to say. She is cooperating. I mean, why wouldn't you? Like, seriously, why wouldn't you collaborate? I mean, what else were you going to be doing? So anyways, just some stuff to think about. Major indexes yesterday. Oh, do we want to talk about major indexes? Maybe we don't want to talk about major indexes. Maybe we'll have Johnny John come in here and let John Smalls talk about it first, and then we'll talk about some major indexes and all that kind of fun stuff. So let's have him come in first.
Here's your Market Beat Minute for Tuesday, November 2nd, 2021. Equity started the week on a positive footing with the S&P 500 index moving up slightly to set a new all-time high. Monday's action marks the 12th positive close in 3 weeks for the index and could easily lead to another string of new highs. The move is driven by corporate earnings that have come in better than expected despite strong headwinds within the economy. This week, traders will be on alert for reports from another 167 S&P 500 companies, marking the busiest week of the reporting season. By the end of this week, nearly 90% of the index will have reported results for the season. Also on tap this week, a key meeting of the FOMC and the monthly NFP report. The FOMC is expected to begin tapering or explain why they're waiting, while the NFP is expected to be a tepid 450,000. After last month's decline in total unemployment claims, the NFP figure should run well into the millions. You can get the inside track in your inbox at marketbeatminute.com.
Okay, thank you, Johnny Smalls, for that one. Let's say what we found on our side in regards to what was going on. Oh, maybe we should change the screen over. Maybe that helps. Let's see. Major indexes finished in a positive territory on Monday as the Dow added 94 points, the Nasdaq lifted 97 points, and the S&P gained, 8 points. So there you go. In that particular regards, all averages hit record highs. Harley-Davidson jumped more than 8%, really closer to 9%, after the European Union dropped retaliatory tariffs against the U.S. product. So there you go. So there's some goodness. There's some good news to talk about for sure. So I don't know. What do you think? Anyways, the Macy's Day Thanksgiving Parade is making a comeback. The 95th annual parade will be back in full force after bowing to the pandemic restrictions last year. It will feature 15 giant character balloons, 28 floats, 36 novelty and heritage inflatables, and more than 800 clowns, 10 marching bands, and 9 performance groups, and Santa Claus too. So there you go. What do you think? Are you happy for the return? I mean, I don't know. I mean, some people will be excited, of course. Some people will look and go, does it really change anything? I mean, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. I'm just telling you what's out there. Just some information, of course, of the things that do happen inside of this lovely universe of ours. So I don't know. I mean, do you look at it and go, I've been looking forward to this? Or did you say, hey, reruns are not a bad thing? We can always go rerun angle and go back to what we were doing before. I mean, I don't know. I just ask these questions because that's what I do around here. I ask the question of the question and go from there. Anyways, let's continue talking about some other things going on. American Airlines canceled over 250 flights yesterday after canceling more than 1,500 over the weekend. The disruption was again blamed on staffing issues. So here's my question. If you are canceling that amount of flights, if you're going around and saying, hey, here's the ig of the wig and all that kind of fun stuff, are you turning around and then all of a sudden now going, let's get some people the stuff that they need. Let's get some people some things that should be going on here, opposed to it just being one of these things where they're saying, okay, we got the cancellation, and now we are doing absolutely nothing about it. I mean, I don't know. I mean, do you book people onto another flight? Do you book people onto something else instead and go, hey, this is what we're going to do? I mean, you have to ask all of these important questions and then figure out what's going to happen. Let's just be realistic. And then if you start booking people on other flights, what do you do then? What do you go about and say to your current customers? And if you have like some kind of elite status, because that's big for people. I am a ranking admiral or whatever the hell it is inside of the system, so I need to be ranked at this. Is that going to become an issue as well? I mean, I'm just asking.
We at Safety FM are not responsible for what this idiot behind the microphone is saying. He is trying to be entertaining. Rated R Safety Show.
I don't know if entertainment is part of the gig, but hey, it's definitely something as we are going around and moving and all that kind of stuff. Anyways, thousands of New York police city officers, firefighters, and other municipal employees have been placed on unpaid leave after failing to comply with the COVID-19 mandates. Yeah, you heard me correctly there. As of Monday's deadline, nearly 23,000, yes, that's 23000, city workers were unvaccinated. The mandate issued by Mayor Bill de Blasio ordered the city workers to have at least one dose of the vaccine by Monday or the risk of losing their job. So what do you think here? I mean, I'm asking. I have to ask the question because and I know that this is something that's going to come up. Is this the right thing? Is this the wrong thing? Is this the thing for the thing of the thing? Because that's going to become the other question. That's going to become one of those things that people are going to ask more and more information about of, hey, this is what's going on, and that's what needs to be done. I mean, is that the right thing? Is it the wrong thing? Who's doing it right? Who's doing it wrong? Because that's so many questions that come about in that regard. I mean, it's kind of hard to say at the moment. This city's doing it right. This city's doing it wrong. This country's doing it right. This country's doing it wrong. I don't know. And it's becoming a very interesting ig. It's an interesting iggy across the board for sure. I mean, just think about it for just a hot moment.
Listen to our host of the Rated R Safety Show self-implode on our airwaves, only on Safety FM.
Always some more news to talk about on the things that are going on inside of the world here. A man in Texas is one of the last people in the world who still has an iron lung. Yeah, you heard me there. An iron lung. Paul Alexander, 75, has been largely confined to this contraption since he was contracted polio almost 7 decades ago at the age of 6, while he was previously able to escape the contraption for minutes at a time. Now that he is older, Paul is confined to it 24/7. Despite the difficulties, Paul published a biography last year, 3 Minutes for a Dog, My Life in an Iron Lung. It took 5 years to complete. He wrote every word of the book with a pen attached to a stick that he held in his mouth. In 1959, about 1,200 Americans relied on an iron lung to stay alive. But the machine gradually became less and less common after polio vaccine was distributed. Back in 1979, the U.S. was declared polio-free, and by 2014, there were only 10 Americans left using the iron lung. So there you go. If you want to find out more information about it, Paul Alexander, look it up. Iron lung, and you can find out some more info, because these things are always important to talk about. I mean, I don't know. I'm always intrigued by some of the stuff that goes on inside of our lovely little world here. So there you go. Anyways, jury selection for Kyle Rittenhouse began yesterday. Seating jurors who have not yet already made up their minds about the teen, provided to be challenging task for both sides of the case. The 18-year-old who shot 2 people to death and wounded a third in Wisconsin last year faces life in prison if convicted on all charges. Meanwhile, during the morning delay due to technical difficulties, the presiding judge played a game of Jeopardy with potential jurors. Some are calling the incident highly inappropriate. No, that's not a joke. That's definitely not a joke. That's what he did. You can pull it up. You can always vet the information that we share with you, because we're kind of jackashish around here. So you never know. You always want to check those things out, because you never know what the gig is. What is the real of the real? I mean, I don't know. I mean, we always share this stuff, because I think it's important to share and go around and all that stuff. Anyways, a teacher of the year from Florida was arrested on Friday who allegedly striking a student. Caroline Mulaney Lee, 60-year-old, allegedly hit a student in the face, causing a bloody nose after the student posted a message on Instagram questioning why the educator was given the top honor. Rumor is that Lee has a history of using the N-word. She has denied using the word, except in relation to literature, and has also denied striking the student. So, how do you get the move in the groove? How do you get the grooviness there of what was going on? I mean, like, how does it come about, and then all of a sudden, you get popped for all of a sudden a kid having a bloody nose inside of what's going on? I mean, something had to happen. It wasn't like the bloody nose occurred just out of the blue, or maybe it could have. I mean, those things do happen from time to time. Anyways, 28 minutes past the top of the hour as you and I are hanging out on this lovely, lovely, lovely morning. Before we get into the next news story, maybe we should do something else, and maybe that's time right now for that something else.
Your Wellness Minute today is brought to you by AlessaMorgan.com. Usually our brain works to keep us safe and comfortable. However, it also has a very powerful tool that can help you to create change. And that is a network of neurons located in the brainstem called Reticular Activating System, or RAS. The RAS acts like your personal algorithm. Just like Google shows you the content based on what you engage with the most, the RAS shows you more of what you think is important based on the thoughts that you engage with on a daily basis. This is also how RAS strengthens some of our beliefs while disregarding anything that contradicts them. By becoming intentional with our RAS, we are able to change our habits, shift the focus to something different, and even start noticing opportunities in places where there seemed to be none before. This minute is brought to you by Wellness Reset, where we always encourage you to find real ways to reset your wellness. For more information, please visit AlessaMorgan.com.
Okay, thank you for the RAS information. That's for sure. In regards of sharing that, giving us the inside egg of what was happening. Anyways, publishers of the Oxford English Dictionary had revealed that the 2021 word of the year. And you ready for this? This year's word. Are you ready? Dun 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 dun. Are you ready for what it is? Okay, maybe we should actually get it ready. It is the word vax. Okay, the word vax is defined as meaning of either the vaccine or vaccination as a noun and vaccinate as a verb. So there you go. 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 So the word of the year is vax. I mean, out of all things to come about with, I didn't know that vax would be it, but hey, there it is. You and I now know that vax is the main word. Anyways, let us get to our main story right now here on the Rated R Safety Show. Rated R main story.
Here is our main story on the Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so here we are, main story time. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about the things that we want to talk about when it becomes so much work. You know, I will tell you. There are things that we do in this life that we do for pure enjoyment. There are things that we do in this life that become difficult because they're just work related. And when it's all becomes a hot mess and it becomes too much, what is the first thing that most people want to do? Do something else. Maybe they want to quit. Maybe they want to stop. Maybe they just want to do the things that are considered different among some. I don't know. I don't know. It becomes such a whirlwind of different things as we talk about this. It becomes such a whirlwind of different stuff where people go, okay, this is what I'm willing to do. This is what I'm willing not to do. But I have to tell you, as I'm going through this more and more and taking a look around, let's talk about what occurred during the pandemic early phases. And let's talk about what happened inside of your world and my world. So you take a look around and you notice that a lot of this stuff was becoming virtual, and there's no problem with that. Virtual is okay. We were all doing virtual something or another because we had so many restrictions on what we could do. But if you did notice, there has been a crap load, and I'm talking about a crap load of podcasts that popped out. I'm talking there was a podcast about another podcast that occurred inside of the podcasting world. So let me tell you about my podcast that I have that talked about a podcast. And the funny part was then you started getting so many people talking about how they had a podcast, which that becomes a very boring conversation right away. And I thought it was interesting, and I knew that there was a whole new slew of podcasts. Now, pre-pandemic, you were probably looking at, on average, about 4,000 new podcasts that came out on an average week. 4,000. And I'm sure during the pandemic, that number was much higher. But here's the gig. As you know, we are a radio show, which also has a podcast network that we put our shows into. So here's where it became interesting. We had people reach out to us wanting to join part of our gig doing what we were doing, and that's fine. And there was continuing to be more and more podcasts, but we've realized of how many people have stopped. Yes, have stopped doing podcasts. How many people have stopped doing the things that they're doing because what happened? It became too difficult. It became too much work. It became one of those things that when they realize that it's not just turning on the microphone and going from there, and that was going to make you instant popular, there was a lot of people that didn't want to do it anymore. And I get it. I get it that things become too much work. And I know that everybody inside of the space wants to become popular. And I understand that sometimes certain things become too much work. And I get it. But as I look around, I wonder how many of the newer podcasts that came about will stick. And which ones did you like? Which ones did you take a listen to that you thought they were great and had something to share? Because that was the thing. There was a lot of them out there that were we'll say interesting. I mean, I'll tell you this. We started the Around the Safety podcast show that we would go around and take a listen to other podcasts, and then we would kind of come back and report on them and would share them on Safety FM Plus. But it became so interesting that a podcast that would be there a week ago disappeared. And so we got to the portion that we could not do Around the Safety pod because they were disappearing. We couldn't stick around and go, okay, go take a listen to this episode, because by the time that we released our episode, the one that we telling you to go take a listen to was already gone, was already bye-bye. So as I look at this and talk about this morning, how often do you see things in your workplace that are similar? It becomes so much that either people leave or people don't want to do it anymore. Is it a common practice? Is it a common thing where you sit there and go, well, not exactly what I expected, but it's exactly what is occurring? I don't know. Just a lot to think about. What drives you to the portion where you think it's too much to do? But then again, what do I know about this world? I'm just a guy sitting here behind a microphone.
Oops! What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
Don't go anywhere.
You're listening to the home of real safety talk.
You are listening to Safety FM. We'll be right back.
People been saying to your friend, get a different face, and posting on their feed, they're super ugly. The things they say to them online are cruel and they're not true. So tell your friend, I'll stand up for you. Don't worry, I know what to do.
Know someone being bullied online? You can be a witness and make a difference by letting the world know it isn't cool and by letting your friend know you care. Learn more at eyewitnessbullying.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
Keyboard Cat, Hamilton the Pug, and Toast Meets World. These are some of the internet's most beloved pets, and they all have one thing in common. Their stories started in a shelter. Start your story. Adopt a dog or cat today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org to find a pet near you. Training that pet to play the keyboard, that's optional. Start a story. Adopt a shelter or rescue pet today. Brought to you by Maddie's Fund, the Humane Society of the United States, and the Ad Council.
Allison is perfect. I mean, she'd never tell you that. She's humble and perfect. She likes everyone. She even likes her untidy roommate's weird guinea pig. Allison, wait, are you texting and driving? Allison, no. That's the exact opposite of what I was just saying about you. Why, Allison? Why? Texting and driving makes good people look bad. Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
We are live outside the home of Joe and Rosie Goddard, where a pretty big tickle fight broke out just minutes ago. Sources say their father instigated the laughter. Let's go inside for a comment. Apparently, they have no comment. Dads, let this be a reminder that it only takes a moment to make a moment. Call 877-4DAD-411 or visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
You know how sometimes there's plans for everything out there? You have plans of going back to the gym. You have plans on eating right. You have plans on doing a diet. You know, all those things. What if I told you that you can make a plan to stop male pattern baldness? And let me tell you how you can start this journey off right now with my friends at Keeps. All you have to do is go to the website keeps.com, keeps.com/safety to receive your first month free of treatment. Keep in mind, 2 out of 3 men will experience some form of hair loss by the time that they are 35. More than 50 million men in the U.S. suffer from male pattern baldness. There are 2 FDA-approved medications that can prevent hair loss. Keeps offers them both. So all you need to do is go to keeps.com/safety to find out more and to get your plan rolling. Now keep this in mind. For a limited time, get your first month free and claim your offer at KEEPS. That's keeps.com/safety. KEEPS.com/safety.
The
Do you have a claim and not sure where to turn? Coastal Claim Consultants are professionally licensed and bonded public insurance adjusters employed exclusively by you, the policyholder, to represent you after sustaining an insured loss. They assist policyholders in all aspects of processing the claim, working closely with the insured to provide the most equitable and timely settlement possible. They will provide you with comprehensive service, anything from inspecting the loss site, analyzing damages, compiling claim support data, reviewing applicable coverages, assessing replacement costs of damages, and negotiating your settlement. The adjusters at Coastal Claim Consultants will evaluate your claim for no upfront cost whatsoever. Coastal Claim Consultants' fee is based on contingency contracts and are paid when the insurance company sends you a check and it's in your possession. Coastal Claim Consultants are licensed to assist you in the following states: Florida, Texas, Oklahoma, Georgia, and South Carolina. For more information, go to coastal-cc.com. That's coastal-cc.com. For more information, lighting the way to recovery. Coastal Claim Consultants.
This hell to pay, and the cross I bear weighs a ton. Well deserved, what can I say? I'm a son of a bitch for all the things I've done. But every time I try to make peace with my enemies, I lose my patience and I lose my mind. Whoever gets me is whoever is in front of me. But why did it have to be her this time?
Okay, 41 minutes past the top of the hour.
I can't stop, no, I can't do the pain.
Okay, this is Joe Marson. This one's called Make Me Whole. This one's available on iTunes and Spotify if you're so inclined to download it. Want to say thank you for allowing us to play this one today. And there you go.
I've been known to lose my temper when I'm tempted to, but otherwise I'm a pretty nice guy.
Yep, that is it. That is it right there for you as we are talking on this lovely morning. So let's get into it. Let's talk about some other things that are going on inside of the news here. Let's talk real quick about the original Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Christy Swanson has been hospitalized with COVID-19 related complications. The actress took to Twitter to ask for prayers as she is currently hooked up to an oxygen tank. The 51-year-old is being criticized by some after speaking out against COVID-19 vaccine. One Twitter user is claiming that to be a nurse reprimanded Swanson, telling her to get the jab as soon as possible. Well, thank you. Thank you for calling out some bullshit after, you're down for the count. I mean, I don't get it, but hey, whatever. You do you, I'll do me, and then we'll kind of go from there. So let's talk about some other news of things that are going on inside of this world of ours. I feel like we talked about this, but we'll talk about it once again. Leftovers. So do your kids have any Halloween candy left in their stash? According to one poll survey, 81% of kids end up eating their entire candy haul within the first week. 1 in 4 kids' candy stock won't even make it through today. Another poll conducted in 2019 found that 2/3 of parents admit to stealing some of their kids' candy from their Halloween bucket. I don't know why they're calling it a haul. And we're not talking about just a few pieces of candy either. Among those who have helped themselves, the average parent ate 1/3 of their child's Halloween candy. They have to sleep some at some point. So, I mean, I think it's kind of an easy thing to do. And guilty and loving it maybe might be some consideration from others on what they'll have to say about it. And then the other portion, of course, is, I got help myself in all of the crappy stuff that all my kids wouldn't eat. So there you go. Just some other things to think about as we are talking as well here, going back and forth and all that kind of fun stuff. What do? Do you partake in your children's candy stash in regards of what they have going on. I'm just asking the question. I want to know, so let's just trying to figure it out. I mean, if you do, it's okay. Those things do happen from time to time. Just asking for the sake of asking. Let's continue talking. A Japanese startup has unveiled a single-rider hover bike with a new video showing that the airborne vehicle cycling a rare racetrack. The X-Tourism limited edition model was taken for a test drive at the Fuji Speedway racing course in Oyama. A video of the flight has posted the company's YouTube account, and the hover bike features a combustion engine and 4 battery-powered motors that will allow you to move speeds from up to 60 miles per hour, according to the company. And it is already available in Japan for $680,000. Now that doesn't say dollars, now does it? Now hold on real quick. Let's pop this in over here and let's see if we can get something going. And so let's see. They do have the bike. It looks kind of fancy, but $680,000. I mean, it doesn't say that exactly. This limited edition bike is black and red. It looks kind of fancy. All you have to do is type in X-Turismo limited edition, and it's gonna pop up right away. And let's see if this thing can haul. I'm trying to get to that portion here. And I have to tell you, if you take a look at this thing, it looks a little scary. It looks scary. If you look at it, you almost think you're looking at CGI. Because, your brain can't actually consider it actually being real yet. But yeah, it definitely looks very CGI-ish. If anything. But hey, it's an emotional experience for some, so you should go out there, take a look, and all that kind of fun stuff. Anyways, let's give you a Corona update, because, that's what we do around here. A soprano has created a mask design specially for singers. Earlier on the pandemic, Ottawa, Ontario, vocalist and choir director Joan Fearnley search in vain online for a mask that would allow her to safely sing in public. So she decided to design one because she couldn't find it. Eventually, she came up with her own workable model using 3 layers of cotton, polyester filtration layer on the inside, and zip ties to keep it from dropping. She set up a Facebook page and posted 2 on how to make videos on YouTube. And as soon as you heard the choir singers and the scientists from around the world who were either making the mask or suggesting design improvements. Hundreds of thousands of masks have been made for the choir purposes. Groups and theatrical companies across North America, Europe, and Asia. And she has recently heard from choirs in New Zealand. My family's been waiting to mask me ever since I was singing at a very young years. So I guess that could be a good thing, depending on how you look at it. Anyways, COVID-19 conspiracy theorists are more likely to contract the virus, according to a new study. The paper published by the Psychological Medicine found that devotion to a COVID-19 conspiracy, such as those that theorize that COVID-19 is a bioweapon, a ploy to take away citizens' rights, or a hoax invented for financial gain, can affect and predict people's behavior and have long-term ramification in their lives, as well as being more likely to test positive. People who believe that the theories were more likely to violate COVID restrictions and experience worse economic and social outcomes and worsen general well-being. I'm sure they designed the study to tell us that as well. So some other things to think about as we are hanging out on this lovely morning here. Anyways, I think that it might be time to do it because we need some motivation in our life. So let's get some Johnny Smalls back in here and let him give us the Motivation Minute.
The Motivation Minute is courtesy of InsuranceChicken.com. Today's quote has been submitted by Steve. Steve Maraboli said, "Happiness is not the absence of problems, it's the ability to deal with them." Oh, so very true. In life, you will encounter problems, but how will you deal with them? This is the true test of a person. I've witnessed both extremes. I've watched a grown adult throw a tantrum because there was a little glitch in their plans. It made me not want to work with them. But I've also watched the opposite extreme, where someone was so kind they just let people walk on them. And they just let that happen over and over. You'll find your happy place somewhere right in the middle of those two. This has been today's Motivation Minute, courtesy of InsuranceChicken.com. They're known for quotes too, but insurance quotes. I'm John Small. Thanks for listening. Your favorite motivational quotes can be submitted for upcoming programs at motivationminute.org.
Okay, thank you, Johnny Smalls, for that one. Always a fun time when Johnny Smalls is coming around and about and giving us some information of some different things going on inside of our world. Let's take a look real quick, because just in case if you missed it at the top of the hour, let's give you a quick 30 seconds here. So let's do that right now with some headlines.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
For Feature Story News in Tokyo, I'm Phoebe Amoroso. A Japanese government white paper on suicide prevention reports a sharp jump in suicide among women. Hong Kong tightens its COVID-19 border rules in a bid to get approval from Beijing to restart quarantine-free travel with mainland China. And a majority of the justices on the US Supreme Court signal they would allow abortion providers to challenge the recent and controversial Texas law. From bureaus worldwide, this is FSN.
Okay, there you go. There's some 30 seconds of news for you, because, just in case if you came in kind of late, we don't want you to feel left out on the things that are going on inside of this world, so don't worry about that. Anyways, let's get into some other news real quick as we are moving and grooving and getting towards the top of the hour. By the way, in the next 9 minutes, I will be exclusively on Radio Big doing the music scene and all that kind of fun stuff that we do over there, so if you want to come and hang out, you're more than welcome to. All you have to do is go to radiobig.fm, and that will get you moving and grooving inside of there. Anyways, let's continue talking. No winner for Friday night's Mega Million drawing. Tonight's drawing will be for $26 million jackpot or an $18.4 million cash payout. If you want to play the game, you're more than welcome to do so. Anyways, let's continue talking about some other stuff in regards of what is going on inside of this lovely world of ours. So let's talk about some things that occurred back on this date. Back in 2020, yes, I will share this with you. Baby Shark becomes the most watched video on YouTube with over 7.04 billion, yes, with a B, views. So there you go. Now that song will be stuck in your mind for the rest of the day, hopefully. So there you go. Anyways, let's talk about some birthdays real quick. Kendall Schmidt turns 31. J.R. Cooper turns 38. Nelly, a.k.a. Cornell Ira Haynes, 47. Maricel Nichols, 48. Stevie J, 48. David Schwimmer, 55. Katie Lang turns 59 today, and Pat Buchanan turns 83, just in case if you're inclined to find out any of that information. What else do we got? What else do we got over here? If you're looking for a reason to celebrate today, I got some days that you can celebrate. National Deviled Eggs Day, National Ohio Day, Traffic Directors Day, Look for Circles Day, and what else do we got? What else do we got over here? Plan your plan your oh my God, I'm not gonna say that one. Just plan your day. We'll just go with plan your day. So there you go. Some stuff real quick to talk about. Also, let me tell you about my friends at the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. If you want to know about them, you can find out more information at afsp.org. Whether you have struggled with suicide yourself or have lost a loved one, know that you're not alone. Hear about personal experiences from people in your local communities whose lives have been impacted by suicide and depression. To find out more information, you can give them a call at 1-800-273-8255. That's 1-800-273-8255, or text the word TALK to 741-741. There you go. Some more information going on right there. Let's talk about some other things that are going on before we get you the hell out of here. Let's talk about Did You Know? If the Houston Astros win the 2021 World Series, no one will be happier about it than Jim Mattress Mac McClave. Yeah, I'm sure I screwed up his last name. The flamboyant Houston furniture store owner is not only a huge Astro fan, he'll also win $38.9 million if his bets pay off. He wagered $3.35 million in June that the Astros would win it all. Why? To cover another gamble of sorts. Customers who bought certain mattresses that cost over $3,000 will get their money back if the Astros win. The Mattress King over here spread out his bets in 4 different sports betting companies, including $2 million wager with Caesar Sportsbook that will pay out $22 million if the Astros wins, and the largest single payout in U.S. sports history. This is all according to CNN, so now you know, and now you know. So think about that. You bought a $3,000 mattress, and all of a sudden you have the availability of getting the bad boy for free because they want to gamble. They want to do the gamble and the shamble. So there you go. Some interesting stuff going on right there. Anyways, 55 minutes past the top of the hour, so let's continue talking real quick. Let's take a look. Let's take a look at what we got here. Let's talk about some whack facts real quick. Every year, about 7 people are killed by a sharp object in the dishwasher. In the dishwasher? Wow, that's something. Just as some people talk in their sleep, sign language speakers have been known to sign in their sleep. Injured fingernails grow faster than uninjured ones. CDs were created to hold 74 minutes of music because that's the duration of Beethoven's Ninth Symphony. In Greece, you can lose your driver's license for being poorly dressed or unbathed. Boy, do I know a lot of people that would lose their shit quick. And Barbie's parents are named George and Margaret. So there you go. There you go. George and Margaret. Now we know. Anyways, let's talk about some scoops of BS real quick. John Bon Jovi tested positive for COVID, then canceled the concert in Miami Beach just as fans were rolling into the stadium. Also, he says that he is vaccinated, so my guess is it was bad medicine. Charlize Theron says that once invited President Obama to a strip club. Of course, he politely declined, but only because the strip club was nowhere near the golf course. Daylight saving times ends this weekend since it always starts at the end. It starts and ends on a Sunday. You have no idea what time not to go to church. Daylight saving times ends this weekend. That's when we fall back and get an extra hour of sleep, which means that the Jacksonville Jaguars will be well rested for Sunday's loss. And then just real quick, fact, the average pot smoker spends about $600 a year on weed and $6,000 on Funyuns. So there you go. Something to think about.
Oops. What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with the viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
Okay, here you go. This morning, if you need a random joke for the day, this morning I accidentally changed my GPS voice to male. Now it just says, it's around here somewhere. Keep driving. Talking about changing of voices, if you don't know this, but Dexter Morgan is now available on Waze as a voice, so something you might be interested in if you're waiting for Dexter to roll out on Sunday, as some of us are. What else do we got, real quick? If you need a phone starter for today, here we go. What movie have you seen hundreds of times? That's a great question. Is this live? Yes, about as live as you can get, live and in living color. So let's go back to that. Phone starter for today. Here you go. What movie have you seen hundreds of times but still enjoy watching? Home movies do not count. Let's just say it that way. If you need something for a water cooler, let's try this. Question, 49% of couples do this together before getting married. What is it? They get a pet. They get a pet. So there you go. So they get a pet. So there you go. That's pretty much all that I have. I will be going over to radiobig.fm if you want to come and hang out this morning. We can do some cool things over there, take a listen to some music and do all that kind of fun stuff as we're hanging out on this morning time. Thank you for coming by this morning and doing the things that you do. I'll be back tomorrow, hopefully on here, and then we'll get to do some other things as well. If I can leave you with a thought for today, I would love to leave you with this. Plans are only good intentions unless they immediately degenerate into hard work. Think about that for a moment. Anyways, you've been listening to the Rated R Safety Show exclusively on Safety FM and RadioBig.fm. Thank you for always being the best part, and that is the listener, because we definitely could not do what we do without you, because that's always important. Anyways, hope you have a good one. I know who you are. You know who I am. Love you. Mean it, and goodbye.
The views and opinions expressed on this podcast are those of the host and its guest and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of the company. Examples of analysis discussed within this podcast are only examples. They should not be utilized in the real world as the only solution available, as they are based only on very limited and dated open source information. Assumptions made within this analysis are not reflective of the position of the company. No part of this podcast may be reproduced, stored in a retrieval system, or transmitted in any form or by any means, mechanical, electronic, recording, or otherwise, without prior written permission of the creator of the podcast, Jay Allen.